Dollar Show on Sirius XM channel 127. We are live from 6 to 9 p.m. And as always, if you don't subscribe to Sirius XM, go to the website, check it out. There's free trials right there, my friends. So, on the show, we're going to cover more of what's happened since the horrific shooting in Atlanta. I have Chris Liu on to talk about the horrific spike in anti-Asian American violence and what we can all do to play a role in countering it, because we can all play a role in it. I can tell you that. But also there's another part of this. It gets some coverage, and I think it deserves more, and that is violence against women. There's a debate. Was this a hate crime based on race or ethnicity? It seems to us like it likely is, but there's no disputing this was a hate crime against women. This man targeted women specifically because he blamed women for his own problems, his own sexual addiction. If we take it at face value, if that's the truth. He hated himself because of women, and he killed them. And what's getting lost in the media, and there's almost no coverage, literally the day after the horrific shooting of the 6 women, the House of Representatives voted to reauthorize the Violence Against Women Act, and 172 Republicans in the House voted no to reauthorize that act. That deserves a lot more attention, not just for what happened this week, but because the epidemic of violence against women in our country that is barely talked about because it makes some people uncomfortable. Here's the truth. Every day in this country, 3 women are killed by what's known as their intimate partners, their husbands, their boyfriends, or their exes. Every day, today, tomorrow, Sunday, Monday, 3 women will be killed by men that they know that they had a relationship with or have a relationship with. Every day, there are 20,000 phone calls to domestic violence hotlines, almost exclusively by women seeking help. Every day, 600 women are sexually assaulted in our nation. This is what we have. And the Violence Against Women Act, which was written, actually in 1994, with Joe Biden, one of the co-authors of it, with a former member of Congress, Louise Slaughter, who passed away. But this bill had an impact. It provided funding. It provides for education for women who need to go to stay at different places to get out of the home where they're living. And it was having an impact. The problem with the VA, it's called the Violence Against Women Act, VAWA, has to be reauthorized a certain amount of years. Well, they have not reauthorized it. The Republicans last year, when Democrats were trying to get him to do it, Mitch McConnell will not even let it be allowed to bring to a vote. You might be saying, why would Republicans oppose a bill that will help prevent violence against women? And for a few reasons. One is the GOP doesn't think it helps them politically. I mean, that's the blunt reality. And you might ask why? Well, because in this bill, it closes what's known as the boyfriend loophole in terms of guns. Right now, if you're a husband or an ex and you've been convicted of stalking or you have a restraining order, you can't buy a gun. Well, Democrats who sponsor this wanted to close the loophole because boyfriends or ex-boyfriends who have been convicted, you must be convicted of, not accused, convicted of stalking, or you have a court-ordered restraining order against you. From that time until the issue is resolved, you can't buy a gun. We've had numerous cases of women who've been killed by current or ex-boyfriends who bought a gun. Just so you know, statistics show that abusive partners, if they have access to a firearm, they are 5 times more likely to kill women, 5 times more lethal, because of access to guns. But the GOP said no, because the NRA said no. And the NRA goes no. And Republicans in Congress going, this is unreal. They're trying to take away the Second Amendment rights of people, which is men. So think about this. Just days after a horrific shooting that took the lives of 6 women by violence, by a gun, by an angry white man who should have never had that gun, that every day 3 women are killed, the fact that men who have access to a gun 5 times more lethal in killing women they're having a relationship with or exes, and still the GOP made a choice, very clear choice, that they were going to choose to make sure that men, even those who have a restraining order, who have been convicted of stalking, can get a gun over saving the life of a woman. This is the GOP. This wasn't a close vote. Again, 172 Republicans in the House voted against this. Almost their entire caucus made it very clear with one voice that they stand with unfettered right for a man to buy a gun, even if he's convicted of stalking, even if he has a restraining order against him, over the life of a woman. There are no words for this. This is where the GOP is now as a party. It is a white supremacist movement. It is now a men's movement. And I don't mean that in a positive way. I mean these men's rights movements, which are a charade, they're anti-women. They're a sexist platform. And that's what Donald Trump was. But again, Donald Trump was never an aberration. It was a manifestation, a culmination of where this GOP was going. This is not new. This is what the Republican Party is. It's Democrats who wrote the Violence Against Women Act. It's Democrats who champion it. It's Democrats who fight for women, and Democratic women and men leading the fight. So we'll talk about this more on the show today, the fallout of it. We'll also have Malcolm Nance joining us, talking more about the rise of of white supremacist violence. Does that intersect what we saw in Atlanta and what we can expect in the future? Again, the show is live, 6 to 9 p.m., Sirius XM channel 127. Hope you'll check it out. More than that, call in. Be a part of our family. We've got a lot of work to do, my friends. If you want progress, stay active. Thanks for tuning in today.